Live. I tried up I tried doing this a few minutes ago, but it was a little bit not that it didn't quite work, so I'm like trying again. I don't know if anybody is around, but I just wanted to, whether you're around or not, I'm just gonna do this as a recording, and if you're here you can join me. It is a beautiful day out in the park, and I just I was trying to do a live earlier, and no matter how much I prepared to do it, it just this thing was on my mind, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't. Oh my gosh, people are here. Hi guys. um, let's do live chat. Let's see your live chat. Oh, hi, Harry. How are you doing? Hi. I think I better put on I think I better pull on my glasses where I can see everybody's name properly, and my reading glasses, because I tend to have these glasses on and then I can't read with it. So so I'm gonna put on my glasses. Hey. I was just like out in the park. I'm like, I don't know if anybody's around, but I had stuff on my mind from reading this article last night. Oh my gosh, 26 of my friends are here. Hey Joyce, hey Valerie, hey Lydia. Yep, that's me and my impromptu things again. So I am changing, and I'm gonna put glasses on here we go, I could actually see you now. But yes, I was thinking I was gonna do a live earlier with something completely different, and I just couldn't focus on it. And Facts Matters, hey. I see you. Geraldine, I see you. Thank you for hanging out with me out, and it's such a beautiful day in New York. I'm like, I cannot stay in my house. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the article. There's this major news that's going on in England right now with this child Q. And it has been on my heart, and it's been on my mind so much that what I wanted to talk about, the live that I wanted to do earlier, I just couldn't focus on it because it was just like, yes, Lydia, it is a beautiful day. I think it's in like the 60s or something. And you know me, I have to be by the water, so. It's 2021 in London. Oh, sorry, Kanitha. Sorry. It's a beautiful afternoon of, I think it's like 4 something in New York. So, but yes, it bothered me so much that I think, again, going back to the story, I think, a lot of people ask, or we say all the time that, the reason why we talk about racism and we really go after people attacking Meghan so much is not only just for Meghan, but it's because of all of this. It's for this young girl and for young girls coming after, who don't have the platform Meghan has. And look at all the things that, the racism and the misogyny and all of that Meghan faced, and she has this incredibly high profile. What happens to the rest of us who don't have that profile, who don't have the voice that she has to speak up, who don't have the lawyers to go after people who abuse us, and we're seeing it with this story of child Q, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and oh, hi, Catherine. Oh, she's listening on her way home. Hi, thank you for hanging out with me on my impromptu live. But I'm not a mother. So I don't know as a mother. I mean, I'm assuming a lot of you guys in the chat are moms. And I can't imagine what it feels like to know that a child, somebody's child of 15 years old in school, to go through what, what this child went through, and I'll look at the story in a second. But it is just, hi Anna, hi Mrs. Pete, I see you all. Hi. Welcome to my beautiful spring summer day in New York. um but I just, it bothers me so much. Again, I'm not a mom, so I don't, I can't speak from it as a mom. But Elaine says, yes, I'm a mom, grandma, and great grandma. So Elaine, and my mom is, by the way, my mom is listening. My mom on Sunday called me to chastise me for not giving her a shout out on Sunday. I didn't know you were listening, Mom. So everybody in the chat, make sure you're on your P's and Q's, because my mom is listening. And she's watching your chats. So, and she doesn't like any bad language. So I'm like, nobody says anything like bad language in this chat. So we don't have to worry about that. But my mom is there. So everybody on their best behavior. My mom is listening. So my mom, I found out, like, oh, thanks, Lydia. It's like, hi, Federal's mom. I found out a month ago my mom is very much a squatty, who I didn't even know my mom knew what YouTube was, and only to find out she's been watching things on YouTube, movies on YouTube. And then now she's like our biggest fan. She subscribed to the channel and she's listening. So hi, Mama. Now I'm saying hello to you. You don't have to chastise me this time. So but my mom is all up into the Sussexes, so yeah, she's a squatty. So C-Max says hi, Mom. So Mama here, C-Max says hi. So, but yeah, and I'm gonna read a little bit of this story. For those of you who don't know about this story about Child Q, she's a 15-year-old child in England who was in school, and this story happened. Hi Raven. It's like, hi Federal's mom. Mom, I hope you're reading. See, this is all my friends saying hi to you. So but this happened actually in 2021, and it is so upsetting that 2 years later, or I'm sorry, a year later, that we're finding out about this. And I'm sorry guys, a train is going by. Even in our beautiful park in New York, there's a train going by. But Nadine Wright, who is the writer, the reporter, the journalist who tweeted out the story about Prince William with his racist comment, where she took it from Richard Palmer. She got blasted for saying a story that white reporters put out. She is the one that's been really up on this case. She is a race reporter for the Independent newspaper in England, and so she is writing. This story came out, and this is her story about it today. She says, a black girl known as Child Q was strip searched by police while on her period after being wrongly suspected of carrying cannabis. A search by Metropolitan Police officers took place at the girls' school in Hackney without an adult present and in the knowledge that she was menstruating. According to a safeguarding report, which found the incident completely unjustified and racism was likely to have been an influencing factor. Staff at the school called police, and 4 officers turned up. 2 female officers took her into a medical room and subjected her to humiliation of the worst kind, involving the exposure of her intimate body parts. She was forced to spread her legs, use her hands to spread her buttocks, cheeks, and cough. Someone walked into school, this is Child Q saying, someone walked into school where I was supposed to feel safe, took me away from the people who were supposed to protect me, and stripped me naked while on my period, the girl said in a statement to the panel. The article goes on to say, wrapping my mind around the perverse degradation of this black baby has been difficult, fathoming the perpetration of police and sexual violence against her. This violation was completely enabled by staff members at her school who apparently saw nothing wrong with this treatment and sent her back to an exam minutes later. It's only when child Q went home later, she told her mom that all hell broke loose. A less discussed fact is the school staff who wrongly accused the girl of possession of cannabis weeks before, and despite their mistake, threatened the child and her mother with the prospect of expulsion. In this manner, if she is found with weed drugs on her, while not being able to continue her place with the school. And it just, like, I don't understand, like, I just can't wrap my mind around the story. Because 4 cops came. The two people who did this to her were women. First of all, you're calling cops on a 15-year-old. Okay. And then 2 women. And I don't know if these women have children. I don't know, we don't know exactly who these cops were. But I don't understand how women could do this to a 15-year-old girl. Even after she told them that she was on her period. Like, and not only that, I don't know about, you guys, but I remember what that felt like when it was around that age where I first, started having my period. I think 14, 15, probably around there. I cannot imagine. It was such a traumatic thing and such a sensitive thing. Plus, I was in a lot of pain all the time with it. But I can't imagine what it would have been like for me to have one. It was so private and so, you didn't even want to leave the house, but to have a stranger that somebody, even if it's somebody to see you and then to have you strip, then take off your underwear, have you spread your legs, use your hands to open your buttocks cheek. Like, I can't. I'm trying to wrap my mind around how an adult could do this to a child. Like, and this is why, like, I couldn't even focus on what I was really wanting to do the live about today. Like, I cannot understand how anybody, whether you have children or not, or don't, or you're so old you can't remember what it feels like to be a child, or even if it's an adult, how you could do this to somebody. How you're in a school, how teachers in a school, I taught children, I taught kids, all different ages, and I can't imagine doing that to a child. I can't, I'm trying to put myself in a situation where that could even be possible. And now this child, her childhood is totally destroyed. Apparently this child was a bubbly child, very outgoing, very bubbly. This child is now a recluse, afraid of everything, barely speak. She's locked herself, a lot of times away in her room. She is now self-harming. I pray to God that it doesn't get any further than that, because she said it feels like she's in a box and the walls of the box is closing in on her and falling in on her. And she feels like nobody sees her and nobody cares. And it boggles my mind that in the year of our Lord 2022, this is a story that we're talking about. And so I didn't know if you guys had heard about it. I just wanted to see what you guys thought, like what, so on this, I'm outside, so I'm not able on my phone to highlight your chat. I'm not able to highlight your comment. So I'm going to read it as best as I can. um, so if you guys, I mean, if you want to, again, I don't know if you had heard about it, but whoever, excuse me, has heard about it, if you want to, if you have any comments. Kenitha, I know, I hope you're still in the chat. I don't know if there are protests going on. I was on the chat. Oh boy, I hope she's getting psychological help. I hope so. I'm assuming, because she is self-harming right now. So I would assume that she is getting some kind of help. Valerie, yes. Joyce, I'm so sorry it went away. The family suing for damages. I hope so. Now that it's out, I don't know what their financial situation, because I know that England is a little bit rough. Like, if you sue and then you lose, then you have to pay. So I don't know if the family, because now it's a well-known thing, maybe even if they can't afford to sue, that maybe they can have help with filing a lawsuit. I hope they do. I definitely hope they do. And so this young girl needs counseling. She's suffering traumatic stress. Yes, she has been scared. Yes, Anna, exactly. She does need. So I hope, I do hope that she is getting the help, because I don't know, and I also don't know if she is going to the same school. I hope not, after them not protecting her. And so I don't know if she is going to the same school. Unfortunately, there are racists everywhere. Facts matter. Yes, absolutely, they are. And the thing about it is the review of the thing. The review is definitely. They said that it definitely is racist, because you think about it. If this was a white child, this wouldn't happen. The white police officers only saw her as a black. Yeah, they only saw her as a black. And that's the thing that's so important with this, because whenever a situation with a black child, they think a black child did something or whatever, what the authorities usually do and what the press usually do is classify that child as an adult. And when a white child do something, they look at it, the child. You look at in the U.S. where you have somebody like, say, Kyle Rittenhouse, who literally killed 3 people, being referred to as a child. Donald Trump being called, he's acting like a 2-year-old with a tantrum. Piers Morgan, a man baby. All of those terms is like infantilizing white adults. I mean, Kyle Rittenberg is a teenager, but he's definitely older than this child, But black children are always classified and treated as adults. And even if it's an adult, why would you treat an adult in this way? The thing is, they do not look at black people and treat black people as we're human. And you would have hoped they would have looked at a 15-year-old child and treat her as a child or as a human being. They couldn't even do that much, Oh, I'm so sorry. I was reading. Someone said that they are in the UK and they have not stopped crying. I think many of us have not stopped crying because, even if you don't have children, it destroys, for me, the child in me felt like the whole day I felt like that child died. I can't imagine what this child feels like, And so am I surprised that she is self-harming? No, I'm not. So it is just, yeah. And again, that's the thing that, I was talking about treating. Yeah, C-Max says, Kyle, a teenager, wasn't supposed to legally have an assault weapon, but who am I? Yeah. But look at, he did all of those things and he is walking the streets free, walking the streets free. And it's like, if that was a black person that did what Kyle Rittenhouse did, I guarantee you he would not be walking the streets. I mean, look at Justice Smollett. Justice Smollett, what he did was totally wrong and stupid. But Justice Smollett basically committed a crime against himself. You know, it was stupid and it was wrong. But Justice Smollett is going to jail for what, 5 months? Kyle Rittenhouse is walking the streets for free. The focus is on Harry flying 5,000 miles unattended. Yeah. You know, and that's one of the things too, is the British press. This should be front page story everywhere. Yet it is sputtering the coverage of it. You know, I saw this video online where BBC, sorry, there's a helicopter, I think, going by me there. The BBC dedicated a whole 27 seconds to this story. You would think something like this, something as, and then on top of that, the insult to injury, they used a black reporter to do it, to deliver it to the people for a whole 27 seconds. If it wasn't for Nadine White just tweeting this thing out and writing about it and will not drop it, you know, and a few others, this thing would be buried, you know? And it's just like, yeah, Elaine said, I hadn't heard nothing till Barron's live. And I was assuming maybe Barron and Duchess of Sussex covered it, because I hadn't had a chance to watch their lives today. So I didn't know if they had covered it or not. So it is just, you know, and something else that Nadine wrote that really, I have to turn on my pad here to find it. She said that really, she said, sadly, these types of abuses are perpetuated against black girls and black women 365 days a year. In a society where we're neither believed nor protected by the laws of the land and its institution. Last night I was on the phone with a young woman aged 29 like me, who was on the verge of tears due to being so affected by Child Q's case. The same thing happened to her when she was a child. Says, these are the cries of black girls who regularly have injustices visited upon them and are forced to suffer in silence. The weeping of black women who bear the wounds of their childhood, often as a result of racism, and remain overlooked or worse, ridiculed at the fringe of society. The moans of black mothers who bend over backwards trying to make a better way for their little ones, often working multiple jobs while balancing their will to protect them from the cruelty of the world, the cruelty that the world metes out to the other, and desire to prepare them for life outside their front doors. The prayers of black parents and their children, that their children will return to them at the end of each day, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually intact. And this is just, the plight of black people. And so many times when we call this out, so many times, you know, as squatties, I mean, we're always calling out racism. We're always calling out, and people like, it's always about race. You're always talking about race. It doesn't always have to be with race, you know, or people like, you know, what is this about? You're always like, you know, vouching and standing up for Meghan and all of that stuff. And it's always trying to tell people this is so, oh, thank you so much, Bertha. I so appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, Robin, the UK needs a Al Sharpton. But there are so many people in the UK who could stand up. There are reporters, you know, that can speak up, like that reporter today who I was so upset, who, even though, you know, I'm sure BBC have their standards, whatever, but the fact that they used the black reporter to deliver a story that gross and that, you know, heartbreaking. And I mean, put an adjective in there, and only allotted her 27 seconds, and she only took that 27 seconds. I wish that Nadine White or, Dr. Shola or some one of those people. Hello, Joyce. How are you? I wish that one of those ladies were the ones doing those reports, because I know they would have taken more time. They would have forced BBC to take them off the air, because they would not have just settled for 27 seconds to talk about this girl. She deserved more than 27 seconds, you know? And this is why we're always calling this out, because what Meghan went through is bigger than Meghan. You know, it's so much bigger. It's for all of us, and how black women are treated and how black girls are treated. You know, again, who don't have the platform. If they are doing this to Meghan, my goodness. How many other girls, you know, as Nadine White was saying, she was on the phone with a 27-year-old or 29-year-old who experienced the same thing. How many other girls in England or in the US or wherever have gone through the same thing and were silenced, or they're too afraid to say something? And I feel like if we don't speak up, who is gonna do it? If we don't call out racism when we see it, no matter how many times people tell us, oh, you're just pulling the race card. Well, you know what? I'm going to keep pulling that race card until you stop being racist. You know, if you're going to be blatantly racist, then I'm going to blatantly pull out that card, and I'm going to flash it every single minute if I have to. You know, and I just feel like we just can't be afraid to say something. And that's what made me so upset about that girl, you know, that reporter. I mean, I remember, you know, probably a year ago, a couple of years ago, begging reporters, black reporters in England, can you speak up? Can you say something? And so many of them, even this Association for Black Reporters, whatever it was called, they refused. They refused. Thank God for the 70 MPs who spoke up, and then another law association spoke up. But many of them refused because they are so afraid. You know, last week when Nadine, the same writer of this article, was being lambasted by her fellow white reporters for speaking up about, you know, Prince William, many of the black reporters weren't saying anything. Many of them started supporting her, or a few of them started supporting her when it all died down, you know, and they were like, we stand with Nadine. I'm like, okay, a little late to the party, but okay, you know. I'm like, I don't care. There comes a time where you have to put yourself on the line for your people. And I know it might cost your job, it might cost whatever. If to speak up about this stuff, it'll cost. It will cost. But we can't let our kids and our young kids go through this kind of stuff without speaking up, without calling to, you know, everybody who is a part of this, every single person from teachers in that school to cops to, you know, the Department of Education. I don't know what it's called in England. If it is called the Department of Education, it is here in the US. Every one of those people, heads need to roll. They need to not have jobs. They should never, ever, ever be around kids. Never, ever again. You know? And so and even this girl at a school, apparently, kids could be mean sometimes. Kids are there calling her a drug addict, like she's a drug pusher. And it's just like, I'm hoping this child is not in the same school, you know? And so, but, yeah. That's why I couldn't focus on whatever it is I wanted to talk about, you know, Commonwealth stuff and all of that stuff today, because this is just like, this cuts deep. This cuts deep. And I'm hoping, I don't know, if you guys, whoever is in the UK, I know it's late now in the UK, but, yes, Lydia, I hope she changed schools as well. Yes, I do hope so. Um, I can't imagine. I couldn't imagine sending my child back to that school. I couldn't, Elaine said it cost me two long-term friendships. They won't believe. Yeah. I mean, look, when you speak up about racism, it'll cost. It will definitely cost. It will definitely cost. And people, one of the things they do, again, is gaslight you like, oh, you're just playing the race card. I mean, you should look at whenever Dr. Shola speaks out about things, how many trolls are in her comments attacking her, claiming she's pulling the race card, she's this, she's that. And it's just like, look, you're not afraid to be racist, so I'm going to pull that card. Every single time you are, I'm going to call you out, So, yeah. Dolores says, yeah, and this is a country that says it isn't racist. Yeah, it just, I mean, there is a video on Twitter right now, actually, if you guys are on Twitter, I retweeted it today, I think, of Jane Elliott. She was a teacher, and she does the blue eye, brown eye test, when she goes and try to help her fellow white people with helping them to see racism and see how they perpetuate that behavior. And she went to England, and she took that that thing to England, and it's the most frustrating thing. I mean, to look at her face with the whole session basically is just them gaslighting her. They would not listen. They have this thing like England is the least racist country in Europe, and I'm like, that's not saying a whole lot. That means you're still racist. You still have to deal with racism. Being least racist means you're still racist. There's no level of racism here. I mean, that's the only place I've ever seen where there's like a level of racism. You're still racist. And I'm so sorry, guys. This is the tweets your posts are coming and going so fast that I can't even have a moment to read it. And I don't know why that is. And I'm not sure why it's going away so fast. I'm like, oh no, I have to figure out on this platform why that is doing. But Elaine says she was called a race trail. Lord, Mashar says England has always been racist. Yeah, I mean, they would deny it all from here to eternity. They just would not believe, and I think that's the reason why they will not change. I think unless you are willing to see yourself, to look at yourself, you're completely won't change it. And I think one of the things that people, and I also say this too. It's like for example, the royal family, they will never acknowledge their role in colonizing all these. They will never really acknowledge their role. They will never acknowledge the fact that they were the biggest slave traders. They would never acknowledge it. And I think that mentality, that white supremacist mentality, is passed down. If those in leadership are not going to acknowledge, that's why Prince Harry was talking about, when he was talking about we have to own, the racism, we have to, own up to the structural racism that's among us in England. If those in leadership are not going to do it, the people that that are following them, their subjects, are not going to do it either, Robin says, brace yourself for the grinning and skimming, the we are not racist family to, oh, of course, yeah, and that's another thing too. It's like, the fact that they will never acknowledge what they have done and their role in colonizing and their role in the atrocities committed, like, for example, Jamaica, where they're going, the fact that they owed almost, Kalo 50, thank you so much. I wish I could, this app again is not allowing me to highlight your donation. Thank you so much. I so appreciate it. But the fact that they owe, and I think, $3 trillion of reparations to Jamaica, yet going to Jamaica, where Jamaica is paying their security, and we know security is usually the biggest cost on the bill. Like, how do you, one, Jamaica's prime minister has a lot to answer for there, why he would even allow that, you know. But it is just, they're wrong and they're strong. You know, Jamaica has asked for reparations and England has been like, you know, basically, we're not talking about it. We're not giving you anything. You know, they're deporting their people. They are, you know, let's not talk about the Windrush generation. I mean, it is humiliation upon humiliation upon humiliation. And yet they feel perfectly fine to descend upon Jamaica, enjoy the Jamaican people's, you know, Jamaicans are very welcoming people. They're perfectly fine to go there and enjoy their, you know, their hospitality. They have the nerve to be going to a Bob Marley. I mean, I posted that Bob Marley song on our community page yesterday, you know, redemption song, freedom, you know, emancipate your mind. Yes. You know, they feel perfectly fine. They will never, ever, ever acknowledge that they're racist. They will never acknowledge that. They will never acknowledge their role in what they have done to Jamaica. But they feel perfectly fine to go there and, you know, and we know it's not because they care about the Jamaican people, but because they have captive audience, most likely. What they usually do, as they do everywhere else, they're going to bring school kids out of school like their captive audience, you know, to wave at them like they do in every other places, you know. And Jamaican people have to sit there and swallow it. And it's just, again, the lack of respect for black people. They treat us like we are garbage, you know? And, I mean, this story, I mean, the fact that they would do this to a child will tell you, you know? And, you know, on the note of Jamaica, which is, I'm so irritated when I didn't even realize this, that last year while Barbados is, you know, working on their thing to become a republic, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, was appointed to the Queen's Privy Council. And I'm like, why the heck would you run on a platform of, you know, we're going to become a republic, and then you go and accept a so-called honor from the Queen to be on her Privy Council? How does that work? Because if you're on the Queen's Privy Council, you are basically pledging allegiance to the Queen. But as a Prime Minister, you already pledged allegiance to Jamaica. So how are you going to pledge allegiance to your country? You know, get reparations from England when you have just bowed down to the Queen. Like, I don't understand how that, like, are you serious? I couldn't believe when I saw this man literally accepted that. And again, we've talked in episodes earlier about how the royal family uses those so-called honors, those OBE and MBE and CBE nonsense to buy black loyalty over and over and over again. So as much as I want to, you know, believe that Jamaica has become a republic, I don't believe that's going to happen while Andrew Holness is the Prime Minister. Because you don't go ahead and accept, you know, being on the Queen's Privy Council where you are one of her very private advisors, and then on the same breath demand reparations for your country. No, you just basically gave up any kind of, you know, anything you have to hold England accountable for what they've done to your country, you know, and you have basically just tied your people back to the Queen. Therefore, you can't ask her. You can't ask and demand reparations when you just tied yourself back to them, you know? And so for me, that's another humiliation. Another humiliation for the black people and black and brown people of Jamaica, you know? And I don't understand. He said, Joe said, the royal family is giving us so many awards this year for black people. And they say we have, I mean, yeah. Again, they give out these awards, and for the life of me, I don't understand why black people take it. I don't understand why a black person would take those awards. Catherine said, you know, we will not be a republic until there's a strong Jamaican woman. Well, it's so funny because, and I didn't even know this, there was a woman prime minister in Jamaica, I think before Andrew Holness, and she demanded it. And obviously, England were basically, they were having none of it. And one of the things, I was reading an article in, and I'm going to link the article in, explains a lot. He knew, yeah. Um, it talked about her asking for England for reparations, and England was like, no, they weren't hearing it. And one of the things they said about it is that, she's one of the people that, it's interesting how the Queen never asked for her, or never, nominated her to be on her Privy Council, because she knows she couldn't be bought. They knew she could not be bought. And so it's like, it's one of those things where, wow, they pegged this prime minister totally fine. They knew he would accept it. And it's interesting to me because even and I was thinking of the Commonwealth, like, the woman, Marie says those awards, they are meaningless, but it's what they use to tie especially influential Black people to them. Because if you notice, you will never find a person with a CBE, MBE, OBE, any one of these awards. Yeah, Portia Simpson's, that's right. Yes, that's right. That's the Prime Minister. She asked and she was demanding reparations, and they were like, no, we're not having any of it. Again, what I was saying, none of those, anybody who has any one of those awards, none of them would ever speak out against the royal family, and that's what they want. Because even when you think in terms of the Privy Council, that's one of the pledges that he can never speak out or go against the Queen. He's pledging allegiance to the Queen, basically to protect her. And I'm going to post a link to the pledge to the Queen that you have to take in order to be on her Privy Council, and that's what Andrew Holness did while pledging allegiance to Jamaica. I wish, I love Lewis Hamilton, but I am upset that he took that. Bright Eyes, oh gosh, Bright Eyes PBJ, thank you so much. You are amazing. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I wish I could highlight it, but I can't highlight it. Diane, I hope your tweet comes up again, because it says something about your granddad, but I don't know why this keeps going out in the posts keep going in and out, that I can't read it fast enough. But my granddad always said, don't work so hard trying to keep a job. You can't do the job. Very wise man, 6 or 8. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. I am not sure I understand what you mean. Oh, the interesting thing about the OBE, etc., is that the British Empire no longer exists. Well, it physically no longer exists, but they behave like it does, They know who to pick. Well, Jamaicans sit quietly. It looks like it. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. On Saturday, I'm going to be talking to this girl. I think she's a squatty. She tweets like a squatty. And so I'm going to be interviewing her on Saturday, because I wanted to get the, just sort of test the temperature underground in Jamaica, because I know what we think and I know what I think, and I'm passionate about. Yes, you're welcoming people, but you don't have to be rolling out the red carpet for these people. You as reporters need to be questioning them, about reparations. They need to question them about racism and them not speaking out for, especially in the Black and brown community, for them not standing up for the Windrush generation, for them not speaking out against the deportations. I hope reporters in Jamaica do that. And so we're going to be talking to her on Saturday. We're going to be recording an interview with her on Saturday, because I still don't trust this streaming site that, it wouldn't go down if we bring her from Jamaica live. So I'm going to do an interview with her just to test the temperature in Jamaica, to make, just to see what people are thinking. And so far what she tweeted, someone just did, oh my gosh, I can't read it. Thank you so much. Who donated $49.99? Oh my gosh, I can't. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I I didn't see the name. It flew up so fast. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. On my next video, I'm going to shout you out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Oh boy, I wish I knew who that was. But anyway, again, I mean, I know what we think, but I just want to know what people think. And from what she was saying on Twitter is that most people, like she said that the government, it was Joyce who, oh, thank you, Lydia Joyce. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. It flew up there so fast that I couldn't see the name of who donated. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Joyce Bolt. I appreciate it so much. Oh my gosh. I was just going to sit here and talk. I did not expect that. Thank you. But what she said, yes, Joyce, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What she said was that the government has not been advertising the tour. She said many people on the ground they could care less, basically. She said a lot of people don't approve of them coming. I don't know if, and this will be part of our conversation, and on Saturday, I don't know if there are going to be protests. I mean, I would have hoped. Bernadine Robinson, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that little man jumping up. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. It's been really quiet. I haven't even heard, like, say, the papers and newspapers in Jamaica really making a fuss about this. And so we'll see, and thank you guys. I know I put it in the community page and asked if you have any questions. And I got all the questions, so I'm going to be asking you all of those questions. So thank you all so much who responded and sent in your questions. So all of those will be asked. We're going to be drilling her for every information possible. And who knows, maybe I'll ask her also if, maybe she'll be our person on the ground if she has time to see, what kind of response. I'm not going to be, advertising their toy in any way, but I want to get a sense, realize sense of what's happening on the ground, as opposed to what, the royal reporters and their press will be putting out, because it's stage managed, and so therefore we'll get pictures of lots of people, even though they've cropped the picture to make it look that way, which they sometimes do. So hopefully, we'll see on Saturday with that one. But I would love to believe that Jamaica would protest, that their people would throw a stink and really even if they stand on the street with signs saying, we want our money, even if they do that, like, I want them to do something, to say something, to not just stay, and not just Jamaica, but Belize and Bahamas. My heart, I don't know what, my heartstrings, probably because I have more friends in Jamaica. And so that is more, like, pulls my heartstrings more. But all three countries, I would love for those people to stand up and say, look, it is not okay that you come to my country bare hand to, accept our hospitality, while not bringing our trillions of dollars that you owe, that you stole. I want people to speak up, and so, yeah. Yes, I hope that came up again. She was saying that, Fannie Lou and Medgar Evers and stuff they were afraid, but they didn't let their fear they didn't let their fear stop them from speaking up. And that's the thing, a lot of us, look, it's scary. It's scary to speak up. It's scary to be the only one, to feel like, okay, I'm the only one. I have been in that situation so many times. It is scary. It is a scary feeling when you are the only one in the room, or feel like you're the only one. Yes, Robin saying Bahamas got hit hard by the last. Yes, they did. And America treated them horribly coming here. A lot of them, they came and America treated them horribly. So again, this is not just a British thing. America, we have our own mess here. You know, a lot of in the U.S. A lot of Haitians came here, and only to find out that those people were stuck at the border, sleeping under a bridge in Texas. I mean, it's yes. So America, we have our own mess here to deal with as well. So it's been again black and brown bodies. And if you notice the difference, even though England say has been slow in getting Ukraine refugees from Ukraine, if you notice the difference in how they're treating Ukrainians as opposed to how they were treating black and brown people coming, you know, risking their lives coming across the channel, the English channel, you know, to find refuge. Notice the difference, you know. The lens people go to try not to speak out and keep the job and take second. Yeah. People will go through any lens to not speak out. Yes. Journalists and others must take action. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. That went away so fast. I didn't get the whole. I'm trying to read your comments and but I have to figure out why this it's scrolling, and I think it may be something that I did or need to do so that the comments don't just pop up and go, and I'm like trying to read it and I can't read it because it goes away so fast. So sorry. But Haitians were sent back while Cubans were taken. Yes. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you guys remember that a lot of them were sleeping under the bridge actually in Texas, and actually World Central Kitchen had to open a kitchen in Texas by that bridge to feed Haitians. And thank God for World Central Kitchen, because, you know, they are just wherever there is a tragedy, wherever there's an emergency, World Central Kitchen gets there to make sure that people are fed, to make sure people are taken care of. And so they opened a kitchen under that bridge in Texas to help Haitians there. So again, this is not just the British, this is not just European racism. We have it right here. I mean, we're a lot more overt in this country with our racism. Robin says, I'm still trying to figure out how Haitians got, I don't know how they got, I don't know. You know, I don't know how that happened. But yeah, they were there under that bridge. It was the most shocking thing to see, where people are running and trying to find security and then they end up under a bridge. Yeah. Let's see if I can see more comments here. Let's see who else that is just popping up. Next time I'm gonna try, if I do this outside again, I'm gonna try to use my pad, and that way I'll have tell Pamela I said hello. I will. Church Nelly, I'll tell her hello. Poor Pam, she's no idea I'm doing this. I'm just in the park, decided to turn on live, so impromptu hello. So I definitely will say hello for her. I know she's working right now, so she'd be like, well, you doing it live? So wherever you are today, I hope you are having a beautiful day. Yes, we're having one of those beautiful days out here in New York. So I'm gonna bottle this day, you know, even though it's this ridiculously painful and awful story is just it's just sort of like taken over my soul, you know, and how could it not when that is with a child. So let me see if I can see a few more comments. Thank you guys, all 234 of my friends and my mom. Hi mom again. So have joined me, and I'm so happy you guys. I remember Prince Harry said that Britain needs to acknowledge their role, the role that they played in slavery. Squads, can you all find that video? Yes, that's the one I was referring to when he said that I think it was when he had that um, sort of discussion with the kids from the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, they're not kids, but they're, you know, young adults from the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. It's like we need to acknowledge Britain needs to acknowledge the role, and Prince Harry got slammed for that. Of course, we are not a racist crowd from England went after him. And then I think it was Prime Minister Mia Motley backed him up and said, yes, that is the truth. Even though we are a Commonwealth and, you know, it's a different mentality that we're no longer colonies. But yes, England, Europe does need to, you know, acknowledge their role, the role that they played in murder, raping our countries, and continents, really. Excuse me, I'm spitting all over the place. You know, they haven't acknowledged their role, and when people bring it up, they, instead of acknowledging and see like, okay, this is what we've done, what they've done is try to erase history, wipe out, so people will not know, and, you know, generations coming up will not know how racist they are and what they've done, instead of acknowledging. And so this stuff keeps coming up because those in leadership will not acknowledge, and so people coming up after them are simply following their lead. You know, the Queen is 96 years old. When is she going to acknowledge? And that's another thing that really irritates me with the Commonwealth, is that the Queen is the leader of the Commonwealth. This woman, as of today, has an exemption where she does not have to follow race laws in the UK. Why is this woman the head of a Commonwealth where most of the countries are black and brown country? Why? And to add insult to injury, if you go on the Commonwealth page right now, it will tell you that the leadership of the Commonwealth is not hereditary, except the first leader of the Commonwealth was the Queen's father. Then it will pass down to her. And then when they were deciding in 2018, 1 month before Meghan and Harry got married, you know why they accepted Meghan, was because that'll make them look good, because they know they were voting for the next Commonwealth leader. What does the Queen do? I want my son to be the Commonwealth leader. And what do the Commonwealth leaders do? They put Prince Charles as the next Commonwealth leader. There are 54 nations in the Commonwealth. Are you telling me that there is no one in 54 countries, all the education that's part of the Commonwealth, all the experience, all the knowledge, the leadership in in those countries, you could not find one person in 54 countries to lead the Commonwealth that is better than Prince Charles? Oh my gosh. I was reading their website and I just got so irritated, because you would read stuff like, yes, we promote, equality and justice for all. And you're like, the leader of the Commonwealth lobbied for a race exemption. The leader of the Commonwealth in that country, of the leader of the Commonwealth, the headquarters of the Commonwealth is in London. The leader of your Commonwealth in London is deporting people from the Commonwealth and has never stood up for them. They have humiliated and are deporting and refused to pay the Windrush generation. Like, this is the leader of your Commonwealth. Should you not be calling out this person? How could you look at all the things that's going on in England now and still put Prince Charles as the next leader, and then have the audacity on your website to claim, oh, it's not hereditary? Isn't hereditary means it's passed down from generation to generation? And isn't that what's happening? I just think, like, do they really look at us like idiots? I think they really look at us as idiots. And so, and not only that, the Secretary General of the Commonwealth is from Dominica. She's wonderful. She's very bright and whatever lady. She's a lawyer or attorney general and all of those things. She's very bright. But I'm like, you're from Dominica. You're from, The same Dominica where World Central Kitchen had to set up a kitchen that Harry and Meghan helped pay for. You're the head of the Commonwealth. You're from the Caribbean. Shouldn't you be calling out the Queen? Calling out Prince Charles for what they're doing? I mean, you're the leader. And it's just like, then, you see a picture of her and Prince Charles at the Commonwealth service a few days ago, and you're like, I could never have any faith in the Commonwealth. Because how Prince Charles got to be, the next leader of the Commonwealth? Why? Because the Queen had a retreat at Windsor Castle. And she stated publicly before the retreat that she wants Prince Charles to be the head of the Commonwealth. And what did the leaders do? They had no choice, apparently, but to make Prince Charles the head. I mean, when that is the case, how could you have any faith in the Commonwealth? The Commonwealth has Stockholm Syndrome. Yes, living in the triangle. Exactly. They have. It's like, I could have. Joanne says the Secretary General is too busy basking in her role. She doesn't identify. Yeah. That's exactly it. I mean, the minute I saw that the office of the Commonwealth is in London, that for me tells everything you need to know about the Commonwealth. That is everything. I mean, even if Prince Charles wasn't the leader, the fact that it's in London tells you everything you need to know. And it says Commonwealth represent themselves. Yeah, very. All you have to give is, give them an honor and they'll bow down. And then the next Commonwealth meeting, I guess, big meeting is going to be in Rwanda sometime this year, I guess, And Susie said the whole thing is like, it's a scam. I mean, how do you have and then the other thing they talk about, the Commonwealth is an organization where every country come in, they are free. You could any country can come in and join the Commonwealth, and they are free and they are equal. And I'm like, that is such baloney. I'm like, a lot of the countries, at least 15 of those countries have the Queen as a head of state. How are they equal? The bigger countries like Canada and say Canada and Australia and maybe, a little smaller New Zealand, they are fine. But the poorer countries that are members of the Commonwealth, how is that equal? They're not on equal footing. Because they are in need to feed their people. They are in need to do all those things. That is not equal footing, especially if the Queen is the head of state. And one of the lies they always tell is that, the Queen is just a figurehead. Lies! And we know it's a lie because we talked on this podcast about the Queen and Jersey Island, her tax shelter Jersey, that they always claim, she's just a figurehead. No, it's a lie. Just like in England, they would say, she's just a figure, it's a ceremonial role. It's a lie. The Queen, the royal family has a lot of say in the countries where she is the head of state. She has just like she does in England, where she can, lobby to get exemption from laws, where she can withhold consent from a law where MPs cannot vote on a law, without her consent. She can withhold it until she gets what she wants before she will give a consent for them to vote on the law. This is not someone who is just a figurehead. She figures very importantly into laws that are passed. Her courtiers are all up in Jersey. They will have, people would vote on something in Jersey, and then her courtiers will, if it doesn't jive with the monarchy, they will change it. And that is the same thing with all her other tax shelters, the British tax shelters she have. They always say, it's not, she's just a figurehead. And that is a lie. So when they are talking about, it's balance and everybody's coming in equal, that is a lie. So somebody's calling me. I was like, away. That is a lie. So it just the monarchy, the valley, the continental, all the same. Dirty money, dark city. Yeah, dirty money. I mean, hello, the city of London, where all the dirty. I saw a post today from this guy from Jersey who exposed all that stuff that's going on in Jersey, and one of his tweet was that people need to remember that a lot in Jersey, in the English Channel, which is the Queen's. Sermon is so much better than the pastors. Oh my God. I'm sorry, Church Nelly. I don't mean to. I'm just passionate about this stuff. I don't mean to be preaching. Whoops, sorry. I'm going to stop my preaching. But one of the things he was saying is that in Jersey, and that's where a lot of illegal Russian money is. And the Queen, the monarchy, gets a cut of it. And that's what people fail to realize. When, yesterday the Daily Mail had this stupid thing about, Meghan and Harry's house in England. I mean, sorry, the house that they rented in Canada 2 years ago was the lawyer who owns the house. Some of his clients were Russians who were sanctioned. I mean, I'm like, did they really want to have a conversation about Russian money? I mean, because, hello, Jersey? And all the Russian money that's there that the monarchy gets a cut of, talk about Prince Charles and Dimitri Leos, whose money, and we're still trying to figure out if Dimitri Leos ever got his money back from Prince Charles and his nefarious characters around him, So it's just like, oh yes. I would love to believe that the Commonwealth is any good, but it's like someone said earlier, it's a scam. It is a total scam. The royal family will not take away the power from itself. Nope. The Commonwealth countries with the Queen as a head and the new empire is a bit tweaking. I'm not sure I understand what tweaking with a bit of tweaking. Oh, okay, yeah. It's with a bit of tweaking. Yes. But yeah, I think her thing with keeping Charles as the new head of the Commonwealth is because she doesn't want to lose the power. People are like, because the Queen loved the Commonwealth. Nonsense. She has the power over the Commonwealth. She has the power over that. That's why she's just basically bribed Andrew Holness to stay, to not become a republic. It's like they want to keep the power. And yes. But I said all that to say, I would love to believe that Jamaica will become a republic, that Jamaica will, demand reparations. And I'm at the point where it's like, it's time to stop asking for, you're at the point now, how many years has this been? Where it's time to demand it and expect that and put a timetable. It's time to just stop saying, England needs to do something. England needs to pay us. England is never going to pay you. If that's your attitude, England is never going to do it. Unless you decide and put a timetable. No, we need to talk about this tomorrow. We need to set a timetable. We need to set a time and set a date. Well, we need to talk about this. And this is how much money, and put out make a budget. Or make a payment schedule of when things need to be. Virginia, not even a month ago, Virginia sued Prince Andrew, and she set them a timetable of 30 days where they need to pay up. Or was it probably less than 30 days, where Prince Andrew needed to pay up, or else that case was going forward. You know what? The royal family came up with $12 million. How much that $12 million, if that was put into Jamaica or one of the other countries they owe reparations to, how far would $12 million be in Jamaica right now? So if Virginia, in less than a month, could set them a schedule and demand action and get that action, you are a whole country. You are the prime minister of a country. It's time for you to really act on your power and the power of the press. And get the press and get the rest of the Caribbean behind you, which we're all waiting to be behind you, and set a schedule and demand and be like, no, you need to do, and this is when you, and this is how much time I'm going to give you to pay us our $3 trillion because our people need it. And we are demanding it. Because if you're only like, oh, England needs to pay us, hello, I wouldn't pay you with that attitude. I would be like, oh, whatever. I'm coming and you're going to have to welcome me into your country and roll out the carpet for me. And I'll think about it maybe in the next, 50 years or so. If Virginia could get $12 million out of them in about 2 weeks, Jamaica should be able to get their money. And other islands and countries should be able to get their money. It's time we stop, acting like the queen is. And it's so funny. My mom was like, she's like, people know what the queen is. She know that, she's not a good person, but people just love her. It's time that we start be like, I love you, but you need to give me my money. You need to show me my money, and you need to show me. I don't care that you're 96 years old. I don't care. You owe me money and you need to do it. Marcus Garvey would shudder at the prime minister. Yeah. It's time we stop, apologizing for demanding our money. It's time we stop apologizing. They owe you money. And, it's so funny. I mean, we've talked about this on this podcast before. As Black people, we are afraid to ask for money. I know I feel that way. I almost feel guilty. Even like you guys are donating on this, I even feel guilty. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't deserve it. You know what I mean? We have that thing about money. White people don't have that thing. They don't have it. And we need to imitate them in that way and be like, no, I deserve this money. You stole it from me. You need to give it back. They don't have that problem. They don't have that problem stealing from us. They are bold-faced lie and steal from us. They don't have a problem doing it. We should not have a problem demanding our money back. So that's my thing. I've been tweeting every day at Andrew Holness. Everything I see. Here, this is how they're treating your people. He's never responded, but hey, I'm doing what I can. I hope that, oh, shoot. I wanted to read this tweet and pedal, I would not pay. Oh, it went away. Gosh, why is it going out? Whatever Andrew Hall is getting from the Queen under the quiet, he is putting in his pocket. The Privy Council? Thank you, Robert. The Privy Council, privy means private. And so whatever happens in the Privy Council, whatever he hears, he can't speak. He can't say anything. So whatever they promise or whatever the Queen says, he's zip. He can't say a word. And so, who knows if he's, I would hope to God that fact is he says deserve them. Oh, thank you, Lydia. Thank you so much. But again, as a Black person, I'm just being honest. It just is, I get a little nervous, or I get a little, it's just a thing. It feels like weird, and I get insecure when it comes to like money. And I think that's the thing with a lot of us, and we need to get over that. And I need to get over that, and feel like, no, we are working, so therefore we should get money. Not this, but I mean, like, for example, getting reparations because you're owed it. Yeah, that's what I mean. So, but now I forgot what it is I was saying before I started on this. I totally forgot what I was saying. But, the thing is, I hope, the Privy Council thing, I would hope that he is not a man that would do that. I hope that he is not a man that would cheat his people. But again, when it's money and power, does a lot, you could start out with good intentions, but money and power will do it to you every time. It definitely corrupts, and I hope, I mean, he's already a member, so that it's already started, but I would hope it doesn't go any further. And again, I don't think this is the prime minister that would demand reparations. I think Jamaica needs to, yes, get another woman back in power, another strong woman in power. Look at Mia Motley and oh shoot, I forgot the name of the new president. I mean, that's the kind of leadership that Jamaica needs, and to do it. And a lot of the Caribbean islands and African countries who are owed reparations, that's what we all need. We all need leaders who would advocate for our people, instead of bowing or accepting ridiculous. I mean, why would you want to be on a queen's like, really peddle its historical issues stemming from how our ancestors were treated and brainwashed to believe we don't deserve anything. Yes, 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 that is so true. We were brainwashed to believe we don't deserve anything good. We don't deserve money. And so, yeah, and that's why whenever a black person has money, they're all up in our pockets. Look at what they've done to, do all the time to Barack Obama, to Meghan and Harry. All whenever they see them with anything nice, they're all up in our pockets. And so it's like we're not, supposed to have money. We're not supposed to have good things. And if we have good things, then we are show-offs, then, we probably stole it, you know what I mean? It's just, it always is that way for us. And it's just, slavery is still here. It's just, it just expresses itself in so many forms, and it's just, and that's why we got to keep fighting. No matter how many times, we got to keep, calling out the racism, the sexism, the misogyny, the whole bit, because especially as black women, we get all of it. We don't just get it from, one thing. We get it from all over. Alice Langdon, thank you so much. She says, thank you for being you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for being here and listening to my rant. Tomorrow I'll do a live with what I was really supposed to be talking about, but actually some of what I was going to be talking about tomorrow we just talked about, so I gotta find something else to talk about tomorrow. So I guess it all just came into one. I didn't realize they all connected until we started talking about them. So free ourselves from mental slavery. Yes. Yes, because again, as I posted that song from Bob Marley, who the Cambridges are going to something about with Bob Marley, I guess his music or some kind of celebration, and I'm like, really? Really? But hey, again, that's for the Jamaican people to stand up and be like, no, you know what? No, we want to free our minds from you. You're a part of the problem, And in my mind, and my, wanting to envision what I would love to see in Jamaica is because, how, like, for example, I think when the Cambridges were in, where were they? In, was it in Ireland or I can't remember, or the Netherlands? I think it was probably the Netherlands or something, where the Kensington Palace basically dictated to that country's press what they could and could not talk to, what questions I guess they could ask the Cambridges, and basically threatened to expel them from, I guess, being around the Cambridges. And I hope that Jamaica's press doesn't fall for that stuff. We, many of you are understanding. I don't know, if you're not from the Caribbean, we are very blunt people. We are very, very blunt. And I hope that Denmark, thank you, Elaine. Thank you. Yeah, they dictated to the press what they could and couldn't say. And it's just like, are you serious? Hello, Ma Jones, I see you. And so they dictated to the press what they could. And I'm like, we're from the Caribbean, and I hope Jamaica be Jamaicans and not fall for that nonsense. envy and ask those tough questions that the British would not ask them, and not let them get away with it. I want them to ask about their treatment of Harry and Meghan. I want them to ask about their, obviously reparations. I want them to ask about the Windrush generation. I want them to ask about the deportations and why they stopped the deportations before they come, and are going to continue it after. I want them to ask why the royal family has never spoken out about that. I want them to ask that. Why has the royal family never ever spoken out in support of that? They've never spoken out in support of Black Lives Matter. They've never spoken out in support of, Prince Charles would do his yearly "We thank the Windrush generation," but he has never ever stood up for them to be able to get reparations. He's never done it. And again, why I cannot take the Commonwealth seriously. This is supposed to be the head of the Commonwealth. I can't take this seriously. So it's like, I want them to be, not be afraid to just ask the tough questions and not let them get away with some stupid pat answers, And I want people on the street to be, protesting. That's what I want. And I am hoping and praying Jamaica comes through. I'm hoping and praying Bahamas come through. I don't know a whole lot about Belize, to be honest. I don't know. And maybe by the next time we do this. Thank you, Kay Costello. Hi, Pam and Hall in the chat. Oh, thank you so much, Kay Costello. I really appreciate it. But I just, I hope they do that and just be themselves and not let royalty, make them afraid to speak up, or not let the Kensington Palace dictate what they can ask and what they cannot ask, because if you're going to come into my country and you know why they're there, and the other part that really galls me is the fact that, more than likely, we're going to see them using little black boys and little black girls as their props, because when they want to show the world that they're not a racist family, who are they going to use? Yeah, the little boys and pictures of those little black boys and little black girls as props. And that is Kensington Palace thing. They do it every single time. It's like clockwork. You know that they were going to do it. So I just want Jamaica to speak up. And, that's my thing. But anyway, guys, it's getting a little chilly out here. Oh, the sun. Oh, you got to see this, guys. This is, I don't know if you can see it on this. Let's see if you can. The sun is going down. Maybe it's too bright for you to see it here. But here's the sun down right here. The sun is going down. It's my favorite thing in the world. Thank you guys for sharing. Wait, what's happening? I'm not sure what she's asking. We talked about a whole other things that I wasn't planning to talk about, but we talked about a whole lot of things. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for just hanging out with me. Dorian says, inhumanity and humanity are two very different things. Absolutely, Dorian. Absolutely. Slavery mentality is there. Don't be surprised. Yep. Also, now that, guys, what I'd write on the protest side if I were Jamaica. I can't write on this podcast what I'd write on the protest side. Yes, I know, Church Jelly. It is so infuriating if you can't post there. One, because my mom is watching, so you can't post anything. You have to be on your P's and Q's today. But yeah, I do. Oh, I think she said she just doesn't want to see Will and Kate pose with black kids. I don't want to see it either. I mean, even at the Commonwealth service the other day, of course, the kids in front of there were black kids, obviously, whenever it is Kensington Palace. Yep. Post the link, Pedal. Yes, Kathy, I will post the link to the article about the child. I will also post a link to the article talking about Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, accepting the Privy Council Award, which is very irritating. I'll also post a link to the Commonwealth page, which I think everybody should go in there and read, because it's ridiculous. And I'm actually, when I go back on there, I'm going to look for where it has comments and I'm going to bring up all these points that is ridiculous. Trish Nelly said, I look like I'm standing in front of a painting. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it is beautiful out here. But my favorite time is sundown, and the sun comes right over here. So again, as you can see. But yeah, this is the sunset right over there. Yeah, I'm gonna go on their comments, and I encourage you guys, go on the Commonwealth site, and if there is a place where you can comment, because I think these people are in a bubble, and while there may be, while there may be racial unity among them, and while there may be, whatever among them, that doesn't translate to the people they're supposed to be leading, i.e. what's going on in England with black people right now and the rest of the Commonwealth. So it's not translating beyond the leadership. And so I think these people are in a bubble, and I think we need to remind them that what they're saying on their website does not translate, and it really is insulting to people reading it, because you're looking at what's happening and none of it is what they're saying. As a matter of fact, some of it is blatant lies, like, it's not hereditary, but it passed down from the queen's father to the queen to her son. I mean, hello, they're not talking to idiots. So we need to sort of probably give them a kick in the butt to let them know that your leadership is just within you guys, and it's not translating to the people you're supposed to be leading. Nobody is benefiting from what you're doing. You guys have your great jobs and your great titles and all of those things, but Paddle, did you hear Ford Fiestas in New York City? I only heard it because somebody posted Arthur Edwards' pictures. Apparently, yes, Ford Fiesta, Princess, what is she? Sophie and Edward. Well, Sophie is in New York, apparently, and Sophie was speaking to the UN women. The UN women that Meghan was a part of, that she needed to give up her UN women to be, when she was becoming a royal. Yes, that UN woman. Sophie is apparently in New York. Nobody in New York cares or even know who Sophie is or care to know who Sophie is. But Sophie is in New York, and she brought her own photographer, Arthur Edwards, with her. Yes. She brought her own photographer, and the only person who care about this is the royal family and the Daily Mail. And of course, nobody is complaining that Sophie is in New York with her own photographer. And it's like, okay, whatever, Sophiesta, whatever, you do your thing. New Yorkers, I have no idea who this person is. It just look like any old New Yorker walking around. Nobody cares. But anyways. So anyway, guys, as you can see, it's getting dark out here. So I am going to get in where it's a little warmer. Thank you all so much for joining me and chatting with me. And next time I do this outside, I'll figure out how I can keep up these comments longer so I can read them properly. And yeah, thank you so much, Lydia. Thank you so much, Joyce and Ma Jones and Church Nelly and Kathy and Rosa. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone that I'm forgetting who's on the chat right now. Oro, hi, Rosa, living with the triangle. Thank you so much, Patty. I will see you guys next time. Elaine, bye. Bright Eyes PVJ, thank you so much, everyone who donated. Joyce, Mara, Sylvia, thank you guys so much for joining our impromptu. Diane, Robert, Collins, ciao. I see you. Thank you for enjoying my sunset with me. Yes, it's my sunset. Bye, guys. Bye, Joanne and Susie Q and Rosa. Thank you all for donating and for commenting. And I'm sure I'll see more comments. Fancy, hi. See you. Diane, bye. See you. Vivian, bye. Have a good day. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you. I will see you guys tomorrow. And thank you, Lydia. Much love. Bye, Nadia. See you guys. See you next time. Bye, TT Carter. You know you're actually promoting what people over in the UK are doing, right? Let them do their own PR. You're right, TT Carter. That's it. No, no more. Thank you. Bye, Elizabeth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you guys. See you all. See you tomorrow. Bye.